I'm here with Shane Pavlinovich. Shane, how are you going?
I'm well, thank you.
Now, I believe you've been away recently.
I've just spent a week in Melbourne, catching up with socialite friends, having their lunch in Melbourne. One particularly was fantastic at the Stokehouse restaurant. 28 Perth people flew in for the whole luncheon. So that was quite a marvellous achievement, I think, and just shows how much that she was loved. And the rest of the time was, I guess, shopping and other parties and what have you.
So what's the difference? Do you think Perth is better than Melbourne?
I don't think it's a point of which city is better. I think that perhaps Melbourne is an older city. Perth is, I think, just coming into its own now, just starting to grow. So just not only in terms of entertainment spaces, and I guess the whole cafe restaurant scene is particularly growing with various bars, boutique bars and what have you, but I think also the people of Perth are generally starting to grow. It's, I guess, an awareness and an understanding of other cultures and people within the city.
What's it like walking down the stairs at Government House?
I've got to say, one would feel $1 million. All that grandeur and history. It's a beautiful building, and nothing else precedes it here in Perth. You can imagine in 1888 the grand balls and those magnificent clothing that the women and the men were wearing. Being part of the Vice-Regal Party was just amazing. As all four of us entered the room and 350 guests were asked to stand as we were named, and the whole Vice-Regal salutes were the bands, what have you, playing. It was just an amazing experience. And to have been fortunate to have been invited into many of the private parties within the house. It's an amazing house full of beautiful antiquities and a lot of rich history that the current governor, Dr. Ken Michael, and previous governors have helped establish and build along with the Government House Foundation. It's just an amazing experience, and it's fortunately the house is open twice a year to the public, the grounds and the house, and they're amazing days as well.
I was at Government House for the royal wedding.
Oh, fantastic.
It was a fundraiser for breast cancer care.
Great cause.
It was a great cause, and it was packed full of people. We were drinking Verve.
Oh, wonderful.
Nice champagne.
Yes, very easy to drink.
Yes, and the food was beautiful. So it was just the most amazing night, because of course you are, after all, one of Perth's most eligible bachelors.
Well, where is everyone? Yes, thank you. I guess I've known about town, particularly I guess through the support I've had through the years of people such as Di Bowens in the West Australian, our former beloved Hollywood from Sunday Times. They've really helped my profile. Di, for instance, I was fortunate that and privileged that she chose me as one of her 10 dress best men here in Perth and published that. She's enabled me to be profiled in Habitat, the West Australian magazine. She's covered many of my events, whether it's professional events or private events. Written me up as Perth's most flamboyant socialite, what a title that is, and I guess the expectations of people around me, and Holly also for the events that he's covered that have helped profile many of the charities that I support. So I guess apart from it all being a lot of fun, which I take seriously, of course, but it's really has enabled me to get out there and do a lot of good for charities and help raise the profile of charities and to gain sponsorship, which is very important.
Yes, because a lot of not-for-profits really struggle, don't they?
They do, both in profile and particularly with their sponsorship and fundraising.
Because the events you do, they're all about a message as well, aren't they?
They are. I guess that's, apart from having fun, I think that the events that I like to be associated with and also attend is that there has to be a key element of fun. We have a new generation growing up here in Perth, and their expectation is to have fun, but most importantly to get those key messages that the non-for-profits have, whether it be Mythbusters, that was I guess a big problem for me when I was the marketing communications manager of the Australian Red Cross Blood Service. The myths that were out in the public that why people self-deferred and didn't donate blood, particularly during winter. So having the opportunity to sort of get out there with Mythbusters, but also key messages that a lot of non-for-profits have, that will educate people and inform people and create that empathy within town that will then lead into further promotion and the much needed funds to carry on their services.
And most of all, to create a sense of community.
Exactly. That's the most important thing.
And Perth does have a sense of community?
It does, and it's growing. I think, I've only heard recently of another new fundraising event that's attracted 3 major corporates that, for the first time have just all put in $25,000 each.
Oh, wow.
And a lot of people are saying that we don't have a corporate culture of donating. It is developing and it is growing. And the people themselves, Western Australian people, are very giving when it comes to charity.
Well, that's good. And yes, they are. Mm. So look, Shane, thank you very much for talking to us today.
Oh, thank you for giving me the opportunity.
It's always lovely to speak to you, Shane.
Thank you. You too.